So, with the 24-25 hockey season officially over, it's time to assess the damage. Maybe this time around we can actually see a bit of variety, unlike this year's Stanley Cup Finals. Let's take a look at every ECHL team and how well they did. Welcome to the ECHL, Bison. You're going to experience a bunch of hardship for a good bit, and you're going to be stuck in purgatory. One other crazy thing? Despite being an expansion team, the Bison almost made it to the playoffs. Then they just fell for the typical woes and claps right at the end. They'll get figured out everything and it'll be alright. Because surely they've learned from the last expansion team that made it in, right? Did anybody make sure to learn from the last one? What was it, Savannah? I don't know. There's been so many. Maybe they'll get it together. Unlike the New York Rangers season. A new year to start fresh and rebound. And the Cyclones do the same damn thing that they did last time. Who knew that affiliates can't do jack shit with helping development? Tune in next year, well, they'll find another affiliate and repeat the same old song and dance for a third time. Some teams like to be consistent like that. Oh, look, everyone. The Wings are celebrating an anniversary and hosted Hockey Heritage Weekend. No, not the All-Star Classic. That's too much of a joke. This means good fortune is ahead, right? Right? Well, if only that were truly the case. Because in true Wings fashion, they once again continue to be mid. Can't wait to see how they raise the bar next year. Not gonna lie, I almost forgot that the ECHL decided to have an odd number of teams, with only the Mountain having 8 teams. Guess it gives me an excuse to make fun of some of the league stuff more, and especially on the recent dumb decisions. And who was the lucky team to be the worst of this bunch? Well, it turns out that having more than one team called the Americans ends up being too many. Allen, you stood out from the rest and will receive the dubious title of being the worst team of the league. Maybe the coaching staff will survive this time. You wanna hear a joke? The Utah Grizzlies. With the arrival of the Utah Hockey Club, now the Mammoth, to the state, it was going to come at a cost. And this team ended up taking a massive decline in production. Yes, everybody is on a 1-year contract, but you still have to make them count. They failed. Miserably. All I gotta ask is where do they go from here? They just got put up for sale, so I gotta wonder if it means everything's going to implode, or if they're gonna be adding a new city, or if somebody is going to stay put. I guess it depends on a variety of variables, but it's gonna be a long road for them. And they better not mess it up. How many times are we gonna see teams like the Rapid City Rush finish in the exact same spot as the previous time? It's becoming so predictable that it's not even funny. Are you clearly not in a hurry for another playoff run? You're not? Well, maybe you can start by figuring out what's gonna happen. Then you better get it together soon because there's gonna be some heads rolling soon. As it turns out, adding more teams into the league means more chances for Idaho to completely forget about the game of hockey. This year saw a step back, and it's starting to look more like that run was a fluke. It's only a matter of time before we can tell if they can return to being among the best. Just make sure nobody else arrives and you'll be fine, right? Right? Argos are joining next year over in Greensboro, and New Mexico's also getting another team. Well, as it turns out, you're still gonna be probably messing around a little bit. Is it how that conference finals run ended up leading to an implosion? How about the fatigue of seeing the same damn team winning every year playing a role in your demise? You'll definitely be back, but there's gonna be some changes inbound. Cause what is a performance? What is Adirondack? More like Glen Falls, am I right, kids? Don't worry. As long as you prove to be the better Thunder team, you'll be fine. Seriously though, why the heck are there two teams named Thunder in the league? Oh, you thought we were talking about Seattle? How cute. Cause I'm sure the state of Maine also have a way of punching their fans in the dick. They can take this lackluster season and get ready for more of it next time. In the meantime, you can watch your baseball counterpart in Seattle carry it all out only to punch their fans come September. All the teams that are based in Massachusetts that have gone on to win championships, one of those teams has definitely not been the Railers, especially as of late. There is no system to screw them over this time. Only their own misfortune can be to blame. Missing out by a point sucks, but it would have helped if they stay more consistent. So, how you gonna mess things up next time? Completely imploded? Pull a Minnesota Vikings only to fall apart? Maybe going 15-2? Of all the teams in the South to have gone through endless pain over the last 4 years, the Swamp Rabbits may have had the most painful venture. Snuck into the playoffs in 2022, lost in 6 to Everblades in the first round. They improved in 2023, only to lose to the Icemen in the first round, in 6 games. Then they proceed to win the division outright last year, only to completely fall apart and, you guessed it, lose in 6 to the Solar Bears in the first round. Now here they are, ending up dead last in the division. This is the type of pain that you don't recover from. And now they're in the revolving door phase where they will end up finding a new coach for the second time. Just end the current regime at the front office and start over. That's going to end up being the best way to approach it. There's no way that they can keep going like this. They just need to blow it up. I see that the Gladiators have learned absolutely nothing from last year. Once again, they get off to a strong start, and then collapse right at the end yet again. This is why players don't always translate well into coaches. Well, I would say they would sort it out quickly, but then they decided to promote Nesbitt into a more front office role. So they're also going in with a new head coach. Yeah, I don't know if Nesbitt would even translate into the front staff personnel either. Did the issue with Disney on Ice really fuck things up this badly for him? Well, at least you can say you tried this time around. Yet something kept looming throughout. Remember the goals of the past 2 seasons, no pun intended? Well, despite the endless chances, that ghost ended up coming back to pretty much bite you in the ass. A chance to make the third time count, and you fail to do so. If this keeps up going, they're gonna end up being a glorified bomb feeder. You better hope this new regime makes it work. There seems to be a recurring theme with the fuel. They seem to imitate their namesake every year. Sure, they'll make a playoff appearance, but when they do, they're eventually gonna run out of gas when it really matters. It happened again this year. It'll probably happen again next year, and it'll end up being the same damn thing. Remember when they got bought by a local business group who started introducing sweeping changes? Well, this year ended up showing the result of the change. It was more of a learning experience here, if anything, but it's not surprising that they saw an early exit. As long as they can keep this up, they'll be able to compete for a cup. Alright, don't lie to us. How are you gonna pull full Vikings on us this time? I see that there is another team that learned nothing from last year. Seriously, it seems like a recurring trend with some of these teams. Once again, the Oilers made a push for the playoffs thinking that they were competitive, only to completely fall apart at the end. This is what people wanted to see. A bunch of wannabes with a lack of talent. Your chance to prove me wrong is closing, Tulsa. Clock ticking. Can somebody please tell one of these teams to change their name to avoid confusion? It's not college sports where everyone knows there are hundreds of schools. This is minor league hockey. Go ahead and enjoy this fabulous prize that is being swept. Have fun with the honor of losing to an expansion team. Lovely. Welcome, one and all, to Royals hockey. Where we ended up coming back to our old selves and proved that last season was due to the competitive field. And now this time around, the only fun that will be had is that we managed to make it to the first round. You wanna know something else? We also managed to find ourselves getting swept. You also wanna make sure you feel the magic here. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna be back next year doing the same old stick. Come join us at our home games. How many hammers does it take to break a bunch of nails? The answer is 5, because that's how many games it took for Wheeling to fall in the hands of admirals. The guys really do have a sense of humor. Man, I wonder how things are gonna go for them next time. You seriously thought that was clearly genuine? It's the Nailers. They're not gonna go far. This team was finally on pace to do something other than fall for the same pitfalls for once. Unfortunately, due to I don't know what could have led to the parting of Mashinter, they ended up having to roll with the young guy who never coached alongside a former player or as an assistant. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Apparently, they've been made permanent too. Maybe there'll be a bit of a better track record this time? Maybe? I get that Tico wanted to do his own thing, but it may have resulted in the team cooling off near the end. All there was to show for it was 4 straight overtime games where they lost to the Everblades. Again. For the 4th year in a row. This is some Buffalo Bills shit, and it's very clear that something needs to change for them to finally shed their demons. The next season is likely going to determine if Matt Vernon stays or if he jumps ship in hopes of an AHL contract. If this new coaching routine fails after being given the permanent marker, the team's gonna implode off a cliff. Got my eyes on you. Tick, tick. Ever wondered what the equivalent of the President's Trophy is? The answer is to look no further than the best team in the league, losing a home Game 7 to Orlando. I know the South can be competitive, but that doesn't mean choke it all the way at the worst possible time. At least it was an improvement by their standards. Maybe. Welcome to Fort Wayne, where nothing exciting happens aside from facing Toledo. It's pretty short and sweet if you think about it. No luck this time, guys. Try again next year. Maybe you'll actually be a little more exciting so where I can talk about you more for once. I'll admit, you did better than expected from an expansion team. But keep in mind, this team is a first season team that has a flaw as they were trying to copy the Vegas model. You didn't commit to the plan enough, and as a result, you got swept. I'm sure you'll be back whenever the time comes, but if the plan is to copy your NHL brethren, you better do a better job at it. Because I'm pretty sure even they ended up backing down somewhat. No matter how much you run from the narratives, they must be maintained. This time it was Norfolk's turn to experience it. You had your chance and it was taken away. You're still not ready to be a competitor. Better make sure you make the right move to get there. Welcome to Orlando, where just like last year, we managed to make our way to the second round, and we managed to make some minor tweaks. However, it seems like we ended up repeating the same result of losing in the second round. It was inevitable, but we know that we got our coach promoted. Look at the new venture, buddy. Maybe we can finally figure out what to do. Maybe we can actually make it interesting for once. And maybe win ourselves a cup. No, wait, never mind. For Orlando, we can't have nice days unless we manage to make sure to root for the Magic. We need the Magic, and we need Disney, no matter what. Try to act surprised, but somebody told them they were not allowed to win a championship because they don't have anyone worth protecting to gain any benefits from Ref Puck. Hope you like having to go fishing, cause you might be lucky to run into Patrick Mahomes over there. Or maybe you end up being lucky and end up with some cheap knockoff instead. Holy crap, it actually happened. It finally happened. The four-peat is dead. When you look at who keeps appearing on the roster, you start to realize just how many aging veterans they have on there. Who knew that players declining in their ability as time goes on, especially after so many deep playoff runs, tend to weigh down a team massively. And this isn't even the best part. Not only did they learn the hard way against the Lions, but they also took some miscues from teams of past. You tried to win Game 6 by pulling your goalie out. Oh. Did you not see how poorly that went for Savannah last year? With moves like that, they deserve to lose. And not a damn soul shows any sympathy towards them. Go cry to the rich over in Madrid. It'll surely help. In a world where we're guaranteed a new champion. It kind of just ran out of gas at the end. You did pretty well, so at least you can work on improving and maybe win it all next time. Maybe. That is, if the parity keeps up. Of all the teams that would go on to win a championship, this was one of the last I think of. But I can't say it's not deserved. They barely survived a complete folding thanks to a last-minute transfer of ownership. And this run is a celebration of sorts. In just their fourth season, they managed to pull it off. Turns out having stability can actually lead to good fortune. Just ask the Commanders how they're faring. Congrats, ECHL. You're not fucked. But I'd be concerned about the SCBA considering how many players have been leaving for greener pastures, especially overseas in recent years.